Hey guys, so we just got a new general, and oh boy, is this one crazy. So the new general, Cheng Yaojin, first thing we notice is that he is not a defensive general, but a leading the army general. So you can use him on the wall when reinforcing other players. Makes him a very versatile general, and that gives him an edge. And by the way, we're looking at the mounted generals right now. The base skill's pretty solid. Nothing too special or too crazy. We're not super interested in that. He gets 10% march size at his 3rd star, so he's not too crazy in terms of where he's going to get up and running. Uh, Total stats from this aren't super crazy. They're pretty solid. The crazy part is when you get to the specialty. He gets 80% attack, which is pretty solid. I think that's second highest, but we've seen that before. His defense is 35. That's pretty low HP. He gets 21% march size from his specialty, though. That's the same as Marco Polo. That 21% is huge. And then when we go to the Covenant, he gets 8% march size from his Covenant, which is insane. So that's 10, 21, and 8. That brings his total march size up to 39%. That's the highest of all the mounted generals, and that's higher than Genghis Khan at 31%. That is an absolutely insane amount of march size. Other thing I've noticed is that his attack stat is very high, unusually high, same as Marco Polo, so they definitely are creeping these numbers up lately, more than in the 160s as they were. The defense and HP are pretty standard for him, nothing crazy. As far as the total attack, he's 3rd place overall, so very solid. His defense, 3rd overall in defense, that's pretty solid. No, not 3rd, 4th overall in defense, my bad. And HP, he's a little bit low on HP, but nothing too crazy. But anyway, when we look at the effective attack on this guy, right now we have this for a T15 K40 2000% buff. We can see he's right below Marco Polo. However, if we were to crank this up to K45, we'd probably see him overtake Marco Polo. Yeah, he does. And then we can play around with these numbers, see what a 3000% buff does. Yeah, so at the higher levels, he's definitely going to be the top tier damage dealer for cavalry. At lower levels, most of his that comes from march size. He's still going to be very solid, but not going to be as broken. A33 with D12 troops, 1500% buff. Yeah, he's still 2nd place overall, right behind Marco Polo. So still very, very strong. By far the strongest mounted general in the game. Now, when we look at the assistant category, he's going to have a lot of potential as an assistant because he only loses 10% march size when you drop the ascensions. So his attack stat is going to be really high. He's currently the highest, and he's beating Washington Prime out by a solid bit. This one's for K40, 2000%, and we're going to see pretty similar as we did at the main general with how his stats go. His attack as an assistant, very solid. Defense, very good, and HP is pretty decent. Nothing too crazy, though. So in the assistant role, he's pretty solid assistant. Best main general and best assistant general by far. Now let's look at some of the compatibilities for him. This is the report that's out right now. So he's not compatible with Andre, Loudon, Linamosa, Martinez, or Prince Eugene. Some pretty common generals. That's going to be a little bit inconvenient for pairing him. No info on Boudica, Roland, Yufei, Ilcid, or Barbarossa. And then these are all the generals that he is compatible with, which is a very long list. Compatible with Washington Prime, Napoleon Prime, and Marco Polo. So very strong generals he is compatible with. Can't take the attack skill book, but with the amount of damage he's putting out overall in the march size, you're not really going to be able to notice much of a difference with that. All the other books you're going to be fine with, so no compatibility issues there. That's the other thing too, is that his march size is so huge. It's bigger than Genghis Khan, and Genghis Khan can't even take the march size book, but this guy can. So yeah, absolutely insane. All right, this guy was so broken. I wanted to see how he would perform as a ground general because some of his buffs do apply to ground troops. And honestly, he works decently as a ground general. Look at a K40 2000 buff march. But just looking at the damage, she's all right, pretty solid. That's ninth place overall. Defense and HP for the ground troops, he really suffers. Not great, but considering he's not even a ground general, that's still very impressive. If you're doing a ground specific march, definitely I wouldn't recommend him. But if you're doing a hybrid ground mounted march, he would 100% be an amazing general for that. So he's very versatile, has a lot of utility. If you can get a copy of him, he's very useful as an assistant. So he is, if you're a low spender and you can get a copy of him, or a free player, you can get a copy of him, you'll be happy with it. But the big spenders are really going to be happy with fully ascended ones, that's for sure. So that's the report on Cheng Yaojin. If you found this video useful, leave me a like or something, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.